with a wholesome direction, the remedy is not to take it from them, but to inform their direction by education. Join Love FM 105.1 and Love TV Live for the program, The Afternoon Conversation. We provide you a platform for open dialogue and intellectual exchange. We encourage listeners to think critically, challenge their perspectives, and explore different viewpoints on various subjects by fostering a respectful and inclusive environment. The Afternoon Conversation on Love FM 105.1 and Love TV Live from Monday through Friday, 2 to 3:30 p.m. with your host, Rufus Divine Cannon. Don't miss out.
It's a pleasant way to say welcome to another fascinating time of discussion where we bring out the issues and give you the opportunity to dissect the issues and proffer your analytical experiences. And we found an amicable way to solve those problems. If there are any, we take up the time to do it holistically and not partially. We also afford you the opportunity without discrimination to talk on these issues that matters. But firstly, we thank God for His grace and His mercy bestowed upon us to be here every time to do what we are called to do, and doing it to the best of our ability is what we're up for. So today is Wednesday, it's the May week. We say congratulations to all those celebrating their birthdays or whatever the occasion may be today. We say congratulations to you. And I'm pressed this moment to say congratulations on your birthday. That's you, Honorable Emmanuel Don of Montserrat County, District number 7. Today's your birthday. Indeed, you are Mayborn. Congratulations to you. And also you, Madam Younger King Gaje of the Vice Presidential Convoy. You are the medics there. We say happy birthday to you as well as you celebrate your birthday today. Too many birthdays, too many celebrations. We say congratulations. And of course, you know, I'm the pre-birthday man. May 12th, that's on Mother's Day. And of course, War Nurses Day. So my birthday is not an ordinary one. It's a wonderful one. So I say happy pre-birthday to myself. Me, myself, and I. So today I've been joined by Martina Topa. Martina is always here with us, but on Monday she wasn't with me due to some little headache she had. But it's always a good thing to have Martina around, you know. She's one of those emerging female gladiator when it comes to media activities in this country. So nurturing her and making her to understand those potential she have can be utilized for the transformation of the media and to give an open eyes to those young female journalists or would-be journalists to know that what a male journalist can do, a female can do even better. So Martina, it's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
You know, Ali, let's go, ma. Repeat 1 year you go. Can't close the door, ma. Go. It's always a pleasure having you, Martina. You know, I'm so proud of you, most especially the moods and the energy you bring to the discos. Whenever you are afforded the opportunity, you don't shy away, but you put in your all, regardless. You may have your little shortcomings, but guess what? You put in your all, so I must commend you in this open minded.
Thank you, Rivers. Thank you so much. I appreciate.
So how did they been going with you, and what are those things you've observed nationally and well, especially relative to the movements around? We understand that the MCC have begun a rigorous campaign in cleaning the city. We also learned that in the coming days, um, the water and sewer will embark on the taking off of feces from the manhole, and those who have connected their homes on the manhole will be asked to pay some fees or so, or their houses that are built on the manhole will be removed and stuff like that. So what you observe, and what are those things that nationally we can also spin on?
Yes, like first let's look at their appointment because like few minutes ago, Senator Dillon posted that upon the return of the Senate, there will be yeah, they will send for the LACC boss to come because there should be no deadline for appointed officials who are in government, because before you enter in government you must be able to declare your assets, because even if you have nothing in your account you must tell LACC that this is it and this is it. It's all part of the rules of law. But up to now, out
Out
of
of 500
500,
plus, you
yes,
only have some to 5%.
yes, and they don't have posted twice about this issue. So that's one of the things that I've been training, because I think he's not agreeing to everything, because first everybody was like, we agree. But right now, I think Delon is not agreeing, and he's trying to work along with the president, maybe agenda that says we'll fight corruption in a way, we will, abide by the rules and laws. So these are just some of the things. And
And on the flip side, we will be joined by Oscar Mulbah. Oscar Mulbah will be joining us, where we'll be throwing light on a few national issues. We'll also be looking at the needs for a defined protest site and a media council, where this media council will be strictly on the issue of regulating media activities. If you go below the belt, you'll be penalized, and there are measures that will be taken against you, because you understand that the media have come to a point in Liberia now that um, almost like no law and order. Everyone chose to do what he feels he can do.
yes.
The ethical standard is not being adhered to the letter. You find people using invectives on the radio. You see people posting gruesome photos. Most especially the social media have made it very, 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 very troubling for the torrential TV and other stuff like that. And the social media is one of those areas now that is you have trending information,
Yes,
so there
yes.
must be some level of regulation. So the media council will also be in that line to regulate and formulate strategies. And talking about defined protest sites, today somebody just get ready because they feel disenchanted. They get on the main streets and block movements and other stuff like that. So those are all things that we need to tap into and find a means through which, if there will be a particular area where people will converge to air their grievances on issues of national concern, you converge there and put forth your agenda, and instead of just going
Yes.
all over the place and causing some disturbance within the public glare, uh, blocking other people movement
Sure.
and stuff like that. So Oscar will be with us any moment from now, so that we delve into that. But Kane, so many things we thought to talk about today. I lay emphasis the other time on the security. You understand that the Japanese freeway is one of those areas in Liberia that during late evening hours is very fearful. Some may say it becomes a no-go zone for those who have valuables on them. And you have community dwellers, you have people, inhabitants of that area that leave job on a late note, and but when it's time for them to go home, they kind of worry, thinking about their security. We also talked the other day that the police or the joint security comprising of the fire service, the LDA, the DEA, the Liberian National Police, and all of security apparatus to have a formulated posture where do we have this movement from the evening hours to the next morning, in the communities, You have the patrol cars, applying the major streets. That will help to cut down the level of crimes. The level of crime, most especially that area. And we also want to single out the issue of light. Light is also security. That part of Liberia becomes so dark. So, based on the darkness, the place become vulnerable, and this is where most of the issues. Just within a month time, we got information of two or more deaths.
Yeah, and
Yes, yeah.
that place, I think over the past time, it have more death rate from that particular setting, and I think this should be something that should bring to the government attention again to see what's going on in that particular surrounding, because while we want community, people always coming, oh, death, 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 and then at the end of the day, we still don't see the joint security coming together and then talk about these issues.
It was just in a week, the same week where the late Amanda body was discovered at the Bandaville Junction. We saw that week huge presence of the security. We saw vehicles of the Liberia National Police being parked. We saw vehicles of the Liberia National Police being parked there, and we saw the presence of a huge number of officers, in that area. So that was welcoming. But we have come to realize that they have minimized, the presence. They have minimized their presence. So that place is becoming so terrible. Yes, it's becoming so terrible. It's becoming so terrible, so that we need to speak on these issues. We hope to have one of these days to speak to us, the police spokesperson, in person of Mrs. Cecilia Glickley Clark. Of course, we say congratulations on your preferment. She's the second female spokesperson. The first was we'll call her name Asatu by Kenneth, and then on now we have Cecilia Glickley Clark, who's just taking over from Moses Carter. So we'll be talking to her one of these days to speak to issues concerning the police, because the police is the first contact of the security. And we must commend the IG for his farsightedness, though there are some lapses. But amidst those challenges, there are prospects and gains. We see that the police officers, when it comes to the outlook, they are more presentable these days.
Yes, yes, yeah. They are
The
well
presence of
represented.
the
Yeah.
police is so interesting. Though it's not like it used to be during our time. We call normal day, where you see, you see an officer, you want to join the folks. Yeah, you want to join the folks, but it's always good to have a brother and friend, who's whenever he's called upon, he doesn't hesitate. He always comes to the call. Oscar Mulbah is with us. Oscar, how you doing?
Yes, good afternoon to you,
My man, when you can.
Reverend. Good afternoon, Reverend. Good afternoon. To
What? Where you coming from, your Reverend?
I mean, you want to claim the team?
No, I'm Reverend.
Good afternoon to you, one of Liberia's finest, and I don't know whether this is your colleague.
Yeah,
Radio.
yeah. She's Martina.
Okay, okay. Martina, it's a pleasure meeting you. I thought she was one of the guests. But, thanks for being with my brother and friend.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
thanks for the work you guys do here.
Thank you.
So yes, it's home away from home again.
Yeah. No, whenever the opportunity is afforded,
Yeah.
as a media practitioner, they say, old soldier is never far from the barrack.
Yeah.
He always around the barracks. So Martina, he's Oscar, formerly of Truth FM. Yeah, the people say Oscar working with defense ministry. So,
every day. So I used to tell my boss man, Prince Charles Johnson, And even the current breed of leaders who are there, I would tell them, say, out there, the public sees me as someone who works for you guys. And here is it. Sometimes for the part to boy, it can be easy. So y'all got to try and conjugate the verb.
Yeah, that's awesome, Oscar. Yeah.
But it's just about, Rufus, it's about the passion. Uh, for us as journalists, we give priorities to uh, diverse kinds of reporting. So I have, even when I was active on the radio, I dedicated most of my time to promoting the security, the police, the armed forces of Liberia, the immigration. But my concentration has really been with the police and the army. And I remember very well there were times. It's just that this new leadership of the police, I haven't been able to meet them, but the past administration of Konosudu, I had a very good relationship with them. When the late Mickey Gray was alive, I had a very good relationship with them. We were able to raise money. I don't want to say I have been the only journalist, but during my days on Truth FM, I was able to raise money to renovate a whole police station, Zone 5 police station.
Yeah, the records
The
are there.
records
Yeah,
are there.
yeah.
And many days or nights I used to go to keep guy with them for the purpose of understanding what these guys go through. Most of the time, the things that they go through, the Liberian people may not understand, because just a few of us are with them to understand what they go through, and we're putting, their gains, their prospects, their challenges. So if we don't give time to listening to them, to be with them and understand what they go through, you will not be able to know. So many nights I used to be in the cold with them, not as a police officer, but just to feel what they go through in the cold. Sometimes we will go on Covenant's patrol, we'll go on raiding operation. I was not raiding, but I would just be there to see them. Yeah, before somebody can say what kind of policeman or that. No, so it's just about having the feeling of what the guys go through, and
Yeah.
it gives you a fair appreciation, and propels you to advocate for them more. So I enjoy doing it. There's absolutely nothing in it. I encourage you to join me, but if you're looking for something for your part to ball,
No,
uh,
don't go that route.
nothing will be there. They don't have it. If they have it, they will. But they got the human relations, and that is the biggest asset that I see, and I enjoy working with them.
Yeah, someone said, look, you have the passion for the security sector. Why can't you venture in that area, Oscar?
To join?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think I don't have the skills, the strength, and the passion. Now my bones are all old. You see, I'm getting gray.
Yeah, leave the gray, man.
No,
Leave the
I'm
gray,
getting gray.
Oscar.
Even though I train, and without disrespect, I think I can train more than some security
Then
personnel.
why can't you join, my man?
But yeah, but man, the guys, they got passion, man. The passion they have, I don't think I'll be able to.
Oh, because the money not there, so you want to join.
No, it's not only about the money, but too many sacrifices that they make. I remember vividly, Rufus and Martina. I can't remember the years, but there was a situation where we're playing a game at the Samarkand Sports Complex. It was an international game. We're playing another country. By then, the former chief of staff, who's now the director of the National Security Agency, a noble statesman, a leadership icon, Prince Charles Johnson III, was then the chief of staff. So he had just taken over, just been commissioned as the chief of staff. And in fact, that particular, it was on a Sunday. That game was on a Sunday, and we had a plan for him to have visited my church. So just about the time we were getting ready to go to church, then he received a call that there was a situation at the Samarkand Sports Complex involving the some AFL personnel and the some agents of the EPS, the EPS officers.
Mm-hmm.
According to the information at the time, one EPS officer wrongly discharged his firearm, and that affected, I think, one or two of the AFL personnel, and those EPS officers got disarmed by the
AFL.
by the AFL, but they could not shoot. You already got somebody within your range, and then you can shoot, and there are laws on that. You know, the fact that
If
you
they pass
have
the
you,
firearm,
you
there are
have
laws.
somebody pointing weapon, you know, at you. uh if a person points weapon at you,
You
that
must.
means
That
that
means you must
you must be
discharge.
ready to discharge, you
Mm-hmm.
know, your weapon. So if you cannot discharge your weapon, or in an attempt to discharge your weapon, and then you have somebody, you know, coming to take the weapon from you to disarm you, and that person is in your range, obviously, if I were the one, you know, I would discharge my firearm. I would discharge my firearm, but because, you know, the military is about
Discipline.
regiment, it's about discipline, it's about all the so most times the guys would tell me, Oscar, if you join the army, some things would change. You know, you will not look at things the way, because
If you are
that, look,
temperamental,
temperamental. You,
definitely.
yeah, you are. So that day, tears set in my eye, because the guy who got affected, I knew him. Even the officer who disarmed the EPA officer, one Dolo, he's not a captain in the army. I know him very well, so I was telling him, I said, "My man, you're supposed to discharge the team before you whip up." So the chief of staff had to rush there, him and myself rush there, and I had to talk to the guys, and the president by then kept calling back and forth. And I'm like, no, the patience these guys have,
You
yeah,
don't. You
it
don't.
beyond understanding. And you can protest.
You can put
You
it.
can come on, it's obey, obey, and obey, especially legal order.
Mm-hmm.
You can obey legal order. So yes, I like the military. I like the security, especially the army. Nobody going to tell you, oh, you know, and the journalist. You remember one time, former representative. He's my own friend, you know. So let me let me say, Hansen Kazulu. I don't know whether you
Mm-hmm.
remember one
Yeah.
time Hansen
Yeah.
Kazulu tried to pick Bone as the journalist when they went to Farmington,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was talking about how journalists were fed 3 times a day. Some of the food said they can't even eat at home, and they went there. They had the opportunity. So I'm not saying we can be friendly with politicians. I do have politicians as friends, but I try to keep a line with politicians, because by the time they give you something, it's not really free. They're giving
Sure.
it to you because they want you to do something for them,
Mm-hmm.
and once you can't do it for them, then they start to, you know, all kinds of things. No, their friendship is not that genuine.
Mm.
It's on, like, you know, reba kind of thing, as we would say, or whatever. And that's why some of us are suffering, you know, the kind of work that we did for politicians when we were on the radio. Rufus, you wouldn't believe that since we left the radio, nobody knows us, nobody has time.
That one, I no more thing that's
So as long as they see you, so let me be with the security. Let me be with my friends who, when I'm in trouble, I know they're gonna be there. They're gonna be, you know. So yes, I am devoted to working with the security of the state.
You're one person who always calling for some important posture and wanting the state actors to take action on these things. And I listened to you this morning while you had a time with Vafley
Oh wow.
on ELBC, and you profile some salient points talking about having a defined protest site
Yeah.
and also coming to our own media, having an establishment of a media council. So what triggers that?
Rufus, as we've always said to each other, the media is bleeding. Um,
Seriously bleeding.
yeah, and it baffles some of us, because there are other younger folks who see this profession as a profession that they want to venture into. Some of them hear the name Rufus, they hear the name Oscar, and the rest of the other folks, Clarence Jackson. You can just name the rest. Emmanuel Coutu, Patrick Honda, and you know the list goes on. I know he's in government now, but you know, these are names that people hear, including people from the other side. You know, some of our colleagues from the other side, and then the aspiration is high in the younger generation. So if they see and continue to see the form of manner that the media is taking in terms of its conduct, it's going to weaken them from venturing into this profession. As you may know, Rufus, entering into the media profession exposes you to a lot of things. You build your public speaking skills. You become more analytical. you become more articulative. You are able to venture into doing research. These are all skills that you get to learn while in the profession. But if you have some of our colleagues who are bent on exploiting this noble profession by the form and manner they conduct themselves, then it warrants urgent attention. And in furtherance to that, Rufus, you will agree with me that if you ask, if you do your own random sampling and ask people, do you listen to Liberian media? Some of them will tell you no. They don't. They
Exactly.
don't listen to Liberian media because they would say it's all about politics. Some of the guys, without disrespect to them, their pronunciation on the radio, the subject verb agreement, the ability to discuss the issue. Somebody would just come up with an issue and then just start shouting and say he finished providing analysis and boom, open the telephone line. What substance have you had, in your talk show that will provoke? The thing about talk show is stimulative. It must be stimulating. So if you don't do enough research, if you got subject verb agreement problem, if you cannot pronounce and you are not willing to learn, that becomes an issue. Some of us, we don't even have the voice quality, but everybody wants to be on the radio, everybody wants to be heard. So that alone itself is a problem, compounded with the fact that everything is about politics and the common manner. So people get discouraged. They prefer to listen to music. They prefer to listen to international media outlets. So too many things are happening to our noble profession, and we cannot sit. I told you the other day when I was here that part of the reasons why we established JPL, the Journalist Initiative for Peaceful Elections, that has been amended, and that's the news I have for you. We've amended the name. We'll shortly be calling a press conference to announce the new name. We're
Wow.
moving into justice and human rights. So we've completed the process, and we're just trying to run after the NGO certificate now for finance ministry. So we'll be calling. So part of the reasons why we established the organization is as a result of the fact that journalists will sit on the radio and give misinformation, disinformation, and lies, and spill out things in the public that will, if not taken with care, will divide the country. Will bring about severe upheaval. So we must be able to speak. And somebody says injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So we cannot sit and fold our hands because this is our profession. We don't want to talk about some of the bad things that we are doing within the profession. So yes, we don't want to see a divided media, but equally so we want to see a responsible media.
You talk about a defined site for protest, protestation. How easy or how can that be put into place? You have any idea or how we can formulate that strategy and make it work in this country of ours?
Yes. So let me before going further into that, let me premise my discussion on 1 minute. Let me premise my discussion on some facts. Let me premise my discussion on some facts. Now, there are international human rights uh, framework on the right of peaceful assembly, and there are domestic legal framework on the right of peaceful assembly. I would like for us to talk about that briefly, which sets the basis for
Mm-hmm.
why I'm asking for a defined or designated site for protests. Now, if you read the International Human Rights Framework on the right of peaceful assembly, of which Liberia is a state party to the 1986 International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, is called the ICC PR. Article 21 governs the right of peaceful assembly, providing that the right of peaceful assembly shall be recognized. No restrictions may be placed on the exercise of this right other than those imposed in conformity with the law and which are necessary in a democratic society in the interest of national security and public safety, public order, the protection of public health and morals, or the protection of the rights and freedom of others. So the underlying word here, or words, in the interest of national security and public safety. The interests of national security and public safety. So that is the foundation upon which I stand to speak on this campaign. About the need to have a designated site for protest. So that is the international framework. Now, the domestic legal framework on the rights of peaceful assembly. Our Constitution, the 1986 Constitution, Article 17 provides that everyone at all times, in an orderly and peaceable manner, shall have the right to assemble and consult upon the common good, to instruct their representatives to petition the government or functionaries for the redress of grievances, and to associate fully with others or refuse to associate in political parties, trade unions, and other organizations. Now, there are two key words in this article. It talks about um, orderly and peaceable manner. Rufus and Martina. The kind of protest or protestation that we have seen in this country and continue to see, can we say that protests have been orderly? So when we talk about orderliness, for example, you're talking about having things done the right way, where they'll be calm. So if you marching along the streets, you take one side of the street so that you allow other people to move about freely, right? That's orderliness. Have we been seeing orderliness in our protests? You have a particular group of aggrieved citizens who will wake up, say they are aggrieved, and then get on the street, but they don't take one side of the street. So they occupy the entire street, the entire road, create blockage or impede the movement of other people. So how can you say that is orderly? It is not orderly. Now, I don't know whether you guys remember the Akaris Gray situation. When he marched onto the university, onto the University of Liberia campus with a group of thugs, and they took over the entire street, impeding the free movement of people. That is not orderly. So, in as much as people continue to say the Constitution provides for protest or for peaceful assembly, but is it done orderly?
Okay.
It is not done orderly.
Okay, Oscar, let me come in and say something. Are you saying there should be a Pacific side where people would just gather there and then carry on an agenda, and then they call maybe the person who's supposed to receive that agenda, and then they present that agenda to them? Is that a Pacific side? That's what it's, with the level like we have found ourselves in this country, where we have seen a lot of protests going on every day, right? And then people have found it so good, where they come on the road, they parade from streets to streets, from from homes to homes. Do you think like they will be waiting to find themselves in this particular area where they would just gather and then?
So that's why I said I was setting the basis, Martina. Right? It's not about whether you feel okay of being in a particular area. It's about the national security implications. So I was just laying the premise to talk about how protests should be. It should be orderly, and the next word is that it should be peaceable. Now, you see people go to protests holding sticks in their hands,
but they are still saying it is peaceful.
Holding batons, holding scissors, and other deadly weapons they have in their hands. So if the law says that your assembly should be orderly, number one, you are not orderly because you're not taking one side of the road. You're burning tires. It's not peaceful. It's not peaceful. You're having sticks in your hands. You're having scissors in your hands. Now, you both would agree with me, and Liberians who are watching home and abroad or listening by way of your radio will also note And if you haven't noted before, let's note that see most of the guys who go to protest, what do you see on their backs? You see back bags on the backs, right? You see back bags on the backs. Have you ever asked yourself what is in those back bags? Nobody knows. What are the things that they got in those back bags? But let's move fast forward. Recently, there was a protest or a march or a quote unquote peaceful assembly, for the sole purpose of advocating for justice for Jessica.
Yes, for Jessica.
I don't know whether you guys follow.
Yeah.
So a group of people came out and said they are marching for justice for Jessica.
Yeah.
So they left the yard of the Supreme Court to move on to the grounds of the Capitol building. Something I observed, Rufus and Martina, and I stated that this morning on the radio, and that is the basis, for my advocacy or for my campaign, that there should be, a well-defined or designated site for protests. During that protest, you saw the way the guys were even dressed. Perhaps they took cue from the January 6th protests in the United States. So most of them were like mafias. They covered their faces, with hair tie and caps and other things. They were looking very fearful. Beyond that, one of the guys who claimed to be protesters, and I think it's still on to this Liberia TV platform. So as they were marching, because I was following, normally when there's protests, I will follow. I will follow very well. I'm not in the midst, but I'm following. So I started following. I started watching off for key things. Rufus and Martina. Guess what I saw? I saw one of the guys who claimed to be protesting having handcuff. He had handcuff on his side, entered the grounds of the Capitol building. So I'm not a security personnel, as I said from the very beginning, but my years of affiliation with the security, coupled with my studies. Currently, I am a graduate student at the University of Liberia at the Kofi Annan Institute for Peace and Conflict Studies. So I'm studying peace and conflict resolution as in an effort to pursue a second master's. And one of the courses that we do is defense and security. So I think I got some leverage in that. In security, there is something we call fruit of the crime, which is FOC. So if Oscar had gone somewhere and then it says something gone missing from that place, and then they bring in suspects, and after the interrogation process, Oscar as one of the suspects is seen with
a handcuff.
with one of the items.